This week we chose to hyper-focus on dynamic clicking, and I was really dreading doing this week's goals. I absolutely hate dynamic clicking, and I find figuring out what I'm doing wrong to be nearly impossible. This week I changed my DPI to 1600 from 800. Before I returned my sensitivity to normal in Kovaaks, I did my first run through of the PASU 1x1 playlist that I had found. Obviously it was pretty shaky for me to play on 14cm per 360, but I did see some scores that were much higher than expected. Day 1. My first run through of the PASU 1x1, most of the scores were personal bests because I had never done the scenarios before. Doing the scenarios on double my normal sensitivity was also an extra challenge. We will just look at the improvements from my double sensitivity runs to my normal sensitivity on my second run through. 1 wall 4 targets PASU slow, 73 points to 94 points. 1 wall 4 targets PASU jumbo, 34.14 points to 62.22 points. 1 wall 5 targets PASU track, 42 points to 45 points. PASU track invincible V2, 3,960 points to 4,248 points. PASU track invincible small V2, 954 points to 1,080 points. PASU track smaller R aim, 42 points to 46 points. 1 wall 5 targets PASU track small, 16 points to 21 points. PASU small reload, 19 points to 31 points. PASU small reload goated V2, 17 points to 37 points. PASU reload goated, 43 points to 50 points. PASU voltaic easy, 35 points to 46 points. PASU voltaic, 25.9 points to 30.43 points. While these scores don't really mean much, it was quite telling with PASU small reload and reload goated V2 how much better I am with my normal sensitivity when I have to be super precise. Day 1 benchmarking. Our benchmarks this week are Bounce 180 Voltaic Easy and PASU Voltaic Easy, my most favourite dynamic clicking and my least favourite. When jumping into benchmarking this week, I feel pretty positive, but I'm still a little bit worried that I will fail this week's goals as badly as I did last. Jumping into Bounce 180, I started doing okay. I had some high scores of 68 points and 69 points. That's the best things got for Bounce 180 with a low of 57 points. While I was doing Bounce 180, I noticed that I wasn't being smooth when aiming at the targets and was micro flicking to correct my aim, which was causing me to miss. My first run of PASU and I hit a score of 51 points. Surprising myself, thinking that I was having a pretty bad run, I got much closer to my personal best than I was expecting. Watching back the VOD right now, I'm seeing myself be really tough on myself after I hit a low score of 46 points. This might be something to work on, trying not to be so hard on myself when my score slips. From this point forward, the scores don't get any better, and I start overanalyzing the stats and trying to figure out the issue, and that's where I gave up for the night. Day 2. I set out today just to do one run through of the PASU 1x1 and getting straight into the benchmarks. As an extension to the training, I also decided to make my Battlefield 5 session tonight sniper only, to really extend the training and push myself while I was at it. Today, I also had a tough time on the warm-up, so I decided to warm up for the warm-up and did 3 rounds of Tile Frenzy to get the blood flowing. We saw some small improvements in the PASU 1x1 today. 1 wall 4 targets PASU Jumbo, 62.7 points. PASU Track Invincible Small V2, 1,296 points. PASU Reload Goated, 58 points. PASU Voltaic, 37.2 points. Day 2 benchmarking. As with our benchmarking yesterday, I started off with Bounce 180 Voltaic Easy, trying to take out the longest standing goal before tackling the new one. A couple of average runs in the low 60s, I started to see improvement, and I finally landed a personal best of 75 over my previous personal best of 73 points, still 2 points short of platinum. A few more runs of 60 and we get 1 point closer to our goal by hitting a 76 point run. On the hunt for the last needed point, I started seeing consistent scores in the 70s, while I was previously struggling to even reach the middle 60s last week. Finally, I get this run. 81 points, putting me well over my goal of reaching platinum. Running off of the high of beating Bounce 180, I jump into PASU Voltaic Easy, eager to take it down too. My first run reaching a personal best of 58.1 points over the previous 57.7, but still very short of the 66 points needed for platinum. The scores start to drop into the 40s, but slowly moving into the low 50s again once I refine my approach. Day 3. As I discovered yesterday, I think the secret to dynamic clicking is just about being smooth as possible as you move from target to target and reaching a nice rhythm as you play. So I continue my focus on this fundamental for my warm-up in Pasu 1x1 as I ran through it twice today. 1 wall forward targets Pasu slow, 97 points. Pasu track invincible small, 1386 points. Pasu track small reload, 32 points. Pasu track invincible small V2, 1494 points. 1 wall 5 targets Pasu track small, 23 points. Day 3 benchmarking. A decent warm up today. I didn't really expect to beat the goal, but I was really excited to improve my average. With a few scores in the high 40s, I started to become worried that I wasn't even going to achieve that. But a few runs in and I start to find my groove, getting some low 50 scores and hitting a 57.2 while not really even feeling like it was a 57 point run. Unfortunately, that was the highest I got today, but we managed to keep on track with our scores from yesterday, falling only slightly below my average, but well above the average of 44 points that I had on Sunday night. I think for the next week, we'll take Pasu out of the rotation and focus on target switching to prevent myself from burning out. I will have a look for some good playlists to use as a warm-up for our goals. Next week's goals. Reach Platinum on Bounce 180 tracking Voltaic Easy. Reach Platinum on Kin TS Voltaic Easy. I'm pretty excited for these goals. Target switching is my favourite category to train, and I haven't done any benchmarking on these for a long time. If you would like to join me on this journey and chill out with me as we do some target switching next week, you can find me live at twitch.tv/Roofy every Sunday, Monday and Tuesday night. If not, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more.